Hey everybody. So I haven't made a video in a good 3, 4 years. I don't know, something like that. And I've been kind of on like the fence about whether or not I wanted to get back into making YouTube videos. When I first set out to do it, I originally wanted to do like videos weekly, if not even daily, but I just, I don't know, I didn't feel like doing it um, at that time. But anyway, like I said, I've been on the fence about it. Okay, this smoke is like really in my face. But and there's this 77 witchy community tag going around. And I thought, what better way to get back into YouTube um, than to answer these questions? It's not only about kind of like a get to know me, but at the same time answering the questions and just putting my 2 cents into what everybody else is doing. So, the first question is, do you use runes as a written language? And the answer is pretty much no. I have in the past, and then in the coven that I'm part of, we actually had like a huge kind of, I guess, block where we had to use runes, and the way that I was taught to use them was that they're written phonetically. Um, and I've seen a lot of people just write them like normal. And so to me, there's a disconnect between me and other people with runes. So that's why I don't use them as a written language. Um, but there have been spells and stuff that I've done where I have wrote, what you call it, the spell in runes and then burned it or, use them on a candle, things like that. The second question is, do you feel you have a natural gift like premonitions, hearing spirits, etc.? And if so, do you think this is what led you to the path? And my answer to that is no. I feel like everybody is born receptive to, I guess, gifts, as you want to call them. I feel that everybody has them, whether we acknowledge them or know how to use them or not. For me, that wasn't at all anything that led me to the path that I'm on today. The third question is, what deities do you work with, if any, and why? And that is for me, when I first started practicing, I used Mother Earth and Father Sky for the longest time. I never put labels on them. That's just how I connected to them. And it always worked for me. Then when I joined my coven back in 2012, it was Celtic. So there was a bit of a shift. They didn't have an issue doing because I've always connected to Celtic deities. I just never really used them. And so the coven that we work with, our coven is actually dedicated to Bridget, so she's in a lot of our rituals. Caradwin, Carnunos, Lou, we use those for kind of a lot. But then we're not opposed to working with other deities as well. So other than those four, and then the Father, Sky, Mother Earth, that I still incorporate into my personal stuff. So that's pretty much the only deities that I work with. Um, Question number 4 is, have you always worked with the same deity? And then that kind of goes back to the last question, and that's yes and no. The Celtic stuff is fairly newer. The Mother Earth, Father Sky is, I guess, going on 13 years. So question number 5 is, do you use any personal items in your practice, such as semen, blood, urine, tears, etc.? And I do use a lot of blood, not like a lot, like every ritual, but I will use blood in quite a few things. Never use semen, but the rest of it, like if I feel the need to or feel drawn to it, then yeah, I definitely don't have a problem using it. Number 6 is, do you do past life readings? Or have you ever had one done? Who were you and how did you die? I've never done a past life reading, so on that part, I'm not really sure. Um, but I've had many dreams in the past of being a young dude, probably close to my age now. I'm 25, so it was like in the mid 20s. Um, I want to say back in like the 1920s or 30s. And the only thing I remember is it was kind of like my death scene, I guess, but it was me covered in blood due to a lot of stab wounds. That's all I know, and I've had this dream repeatedly for years throughout my life. And so that's about as much as I can get on my past life. Um, I've had dreams where I felt like I was in ancient Egypt. Nothing like a pharaoh, none of that fancy stuff that a lot of people claim. So yeah. Um, Number 7 is what is your favorite magical tool? And for me, that's myself. I've never been a person to use a lot of tools. Right now, currently, I actually don't use anything really except for stuff that's in the coven. And I guess I'll get into that in another video of why. But yeah, myself would be my favorite magical tool. Number 8 is what is a song or type of music that gets you into a witchy mood? And for me, I can kind of use almost anything. I'm not gonna lie, I've used country music before to meditate, which is kind of hard to explain. I don't know, it just works for me. Um, I listen to pretty much anything if I'm writing my book of shadows or something like that. Um, I don't really care what the kind of music, but if I'm like meditating or if I'm actually in ritual, I love like the Native American flute drum kind of music, and that's what really gets me into, I guess, a witchy mood. Number 9 is what is the most magical place you've ever been? And I don't think I really have an answer for that. Definitely, though, the place that I connect to the most is where I grew up, which is my mom's property out in the country. I've always felt a huge connection there. It always makes me so peaceful. And so for me, I guess that would be my answer. Number 10 is what animal is your familiar, if any? Um, and I don't use modern day definitions of familiar. So while most people go around saying that their cat or their dog or their hamster or whatever is their familiar, I tend to go with the more old school approach that is a spiritual, I guess, aid. Um, but he, I actually do work with a bear spirit. I've worked with him for a few years now. And so that would be, I guess, my familiar at the moment. So yeah, let's see. Number 11 is if you have a familiar, did you choose them or did they choose you? And that I would have to say he chose me. I mean, I've always liked the animal to begin with. But as far as working with it, it wasn't like I was opposed to it. It is kind of like I guess a lot of people when they get into the craft, they kind of expect the wolf or the eagle or this or that or whatever. But when it came to me and I actually started working with it and connecting to it, I realized that the qualities that it possessed and that it was offering to me, I needed at the time. And yeah, it's worked since. So number 12 is what in the craft are you best at, such as tarot, spells, rituals, etc. Um, and I think for me, that would probably be rituals, I guess. I've written a lot of them since joining the coven too. That's something that we do a lot. My high priestess actually runs the Austin Moon Circles here, and so we hold open circles to the public and all that stuff. So I've actually she encourages us to write a lot of rituals, and so I guess that would be something that I'm good at because I do it a lot. Number 13 is what in the craft would you say you're weaker at? And I guess though for me it would be working with gems and stones and all that. I've never really been a big, I guess, stone person when it comes to working. And so that would be something that I would probably say that is my weaker point. Okay, number 14 is what is your favorite part of your craft? Oh, wait. Yeah. What is your favorite part of your craft? Spell writing, divination, etc. Um, for me, I guess my favorite part would be the variety of spells and rituals and all that that you're able to do or create. Um, yeah, I guess that's what it would be, just the diversity or the openness of what you're able to create for yourself. Number 15 is what is the first tool ever purchased? And that would have to be my Athame. Um, yeah. And then what is your first homemade tool that you ever use in your practice? And that would probably be a wand. I guess that's kind of the most go to answer, but yeah, that was pretty much what it was.